Welcome to the breakdown. I am DELACREMEDELA, your privileged host of the Breakdown Show. Welcome to the DELACREMEDELA channel and the Breakdown Show. Listen, it was recommended that we go back and take a look at this Village of Dalton regular board meeting from December 2nd, 2019. So I started taking a look at this video already to get through some of the minutiae. I want to give you my take on what has happened in the first 37 minutes and 22 seconds, and then we will watch from there on together. Before I do begin, again, this is the Breakdown Show. Let me go over a couple house rules. Rule number 1, this is not a no judgment zone. Don't come up here telling people not to judge. That is religious abuse, and we don't do that here. Number 2, this is not for children. I talk like your rich auntie, so please don't bring your kids around if you don't want them to hear adult conversation and adult language. Number 3, this is a culturally sensitive subject, so it is well recommended that if you don't know the words to "Ain't No Stopping Us Now," if you can't at least sing one verse, then be very careful how you talk about black people in this conversation, okay? Whether it's in the comments or in the live chat. By the way, I really do enjoy watching you guys' chat. Sometimes I like to just sit back and watch it, and I really, really appreciate everything you guys bring to the conversation. Y'all be knowing. And I have seen some of y'all, Lexi, I have seen you in the live chat of these meetings as well. So I know you be knowing. You've been following this story for quite a while. So thank you guys so much for all being here. Welcome to you. Have fun in the chat. Have fun in the comments. So let me just tell you what's popping so far. On this meeting from December 2nd, 2019, this is a regular Village of Dalton meeting. This is when Riley Rogers was mayor. And Tiffany Henyard was trustee. And the person you see before you, well, the big head is this one. Y'all know who that is. Well, he looked bad today. He doesn't age poorly. And then you see trustee Edward Steve, who probably will be trustee again very soon. So a couple things happened during the beginning of this meeting. Number 1, it started 13 minutes and 10 seconds late. So that shows me there is a tradition of disrespect against the citizens of Dalton. There is a long-standing tradition that says it's okay to start a government meeting 13 minutes late. That's some bullshit. That says quite a bit. Quite a bit. You also will notice here that the trustees are sitting alongside the mayor. Which is how they were sitting when Tiffany Henyard started as mayor, but then her ego got the best of her and she had to separate them. You'll also notice that Janice Johnson is here, but she does not look as much like a crackhead in this video. You can really see like the degradation, the disimprovement of folks' health. I'll put it that way. Tiffany Henyard's administration is looking a mess today compared to how they were looking then. Want to just jump to something I noticed. There was a quick prayer by Tammy Brown at the beginning. Very neutral, very quick. At around 14 minutes and 44 seconds, Henyard has a general comment about her clothing drive. What's interesting to me is she calls it her clothing drive, which makes me wonder why she's announcing it at a Village of Dalton meeting. I do also notice that immediately after that, Trustee Tammy Brown has an announcement about a collaboration between the Village of Dalton and the Masonic Lodge across the street doing a Christmas party. And now we see why Tiffany Henyard closed the Masonic Lodge. Because the Masonic Lodge was doing the toy giveaways and the food giveaways, the turkey giveaways that Tiffany Henyard demands all the credit for. So now we see why she closed the Masonic Lodge. Then there was a citizen's address. It was limited to discussion of the agenda, but there was a question and answer. So former trustee Muhammad stood up and asked a question about the upcoming taxes. And the village administrator, I believe it was a representative of the accountant firm who still works for the village, got up and answered the question to the best of his ability. At that time, there was no deficit. 12/2/2019, there was a surplus, not a deficit. So let's not say Tiffany Henyard inherited a $6 million deficit, okay? Now, what we'll notice is that at 3735, they switch over to corporate bills. One thing you will notice when Trustee Jason House, who is the finance committeeman, reads the corporate bills are less than $2 million altogether. Payroll and everything. Let's continue. Or let's begin, rather.
To make it self-sufficient. So it's on the way up. And that's it for my report. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Trustee Steve. Okay, corporate bills. Trustee House.
Okay, and I heard mention at the last one, so I want to thank Trustee Denton for the reminder acknowledgement that the corporate bills were not read in their entirety the previous meeting. So I want to make sure that was an oversight on my behalf and make sure that moving forward we continue to do it as we have in the past. So thank you for that. With that being said, I ask that we have a motion that we pay the corporate bill register dated December 2nd, 2019 with corporate payments of $644,074.78, manual checks of $12,931, gross payroll for November 8th, $359,268.78, gross payroll 11/22/19 of $362,962.85, Melanie Fitness Center register number 150, payments of $5,229.64 with gross payroll for November 8th, $6,665.13, gross payroll for November 22nd, $9,697.09, for total corporate payments of $1,400,829.27. I want to make a motion that we pay the bills.
Can you get a motion?
Now, before they go into the motion, which is going to be motioned and seconded, the reason why I stopped to have a start with this section is because they will go into discussion, and the very first person to say they need to discuss something is going to be Tiffany Henyard. I have not heard what she said yet. I wanted to listen to it with you. But let's go over these numbers real quick, right? Weren't these numbers the kind of numbers Stan Brown would have been able to say if that's all he had to do? I mean, you're talking about $644,000 in gross payroll, $1,231 in manual checks, not $500,000 or $600,000 or over $1 million in manual checks, $1,231 in manual checks. Gross payroll $644,000, total corporate payments of $1,400,000. $1 million. I can't say it because I wrote it wrong. God damn it. I think it's $1,482,029.27. I believe. I was trying to keep up with him when he read. I was just flabbergasted that the numbers were so. I'm used to writing those numbers as like gross payments of $3 million. Yeah. We see where the deficit comes from, because if the gross payments are $1.4 million in 2019, and today they're about, let's just say $3.5 million, we see the deficit $2.4 million. Saw that extra overtime and manual checks and the electronic warrant list. I can't wait to see her get her just due. I know she know a lot, and I know she's hidden a lot, and I know she's done a lot. I just look forward to it coming out.
I'd like to make a motion to pay corporate bills.
Second.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to pay the corporate bills as read. Any discussion?
Yeah, I got some questions.
Go ahead.
I guess this one question is for Matt. I'm trying to understand the tree cutting. Why is it that Public Works can't cut majority of the trees? Why do we keep outsourcing it? I see there's a bill for $25,000 to pay for trees, but I don't know what locations or where did they cut the trees at. Can you respond to that?
Some of the trees that are out there, I know on this report, it was probably over on the west side. Those trees were big trees. Our guys aren't set up with the knowledge as the outside company to where they're roping the trees as they're cutting them so they don't fall down, hit people's homes and all that. So that's why we contract the larger trees out.
Okay, so all of that added to 25,000, and none of that you guys could have done?
Trustee, I'm just going to address this. We don't have the equipment to cut some of those trees.
Mayor, with all due respect, can Matt respond? He is the department head.
We go through this every year with you.
We're not going through anything. I'm asking questions about the warrant list. You want me to pay bills? I'm asking questions to the department head.
Yeah,
nothing against you.
This is the first year that's been approved to get trees cut. And some of those trees, if you take a look at them, especially on the west side, 50 to 100 years old, we don't have the equipment to do it. And the ones that we do, they cut trees. They cut plenty of trees.
Okay, you done, Mayor? Matt, the reason why I was asking those questions is because I was just trying to get a better understanding of how your department was ran and who hired the contractors. Like, do you send it out for hire for the contractors? Like, who picks the company to come in and cut the trees?
We've always used the one company, Pekarsky's Trees. Any major trees, the big ones and that, we've called them in the past, and we do that in the present. We're not set up to cut these large trees. We don't have the equipment.
Okay.
And that's a big safety issues with the guys. They're not going to go and start cutting trees if they're not, set up to do it.
Okay, and that's the only company. You never used another company to do so?
No, since I've been here, that's the only one we've used.
Okay. My next question is, I see that you have a cleaning service bill on here for $1,200. It said, was there a body removed from the jail? I was a little confused with that one. I guess I'm asking because I don't know. I guess it could be the police department maybe, or Mayor, if you want to answer that.
I don't know what department it came from.
What was that?
I don't know what department you're referring to.
It said a cleaning specialist bill for $1,200 in jail for body removal. What is that?
Trustee, it would be helpful for the minutes if you could identify the pages on the warrant list as to which these items are listed.
Well, I don't have the pages in front of me. I just wrote my questions so I can just bam, 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 go through them. I didn't write a page down. If you want to look for it, y'all can, but it's on the warrant list.
The warrant list is page 12 of 13.
Well, there you go.
Thank you, Trustee.
Know anything about that, Chief? Okay.
That would be anything that we, as a biohazard, that the officers are not equipped to handle. So we would have to call in a company to remove the biohazard, anywhere from feces to blood to something that they couldn't handle. So it's basically a biohazard.
Okay, thank you. My next question is credit card invoices. I've asked at the last board meeting, and I don't know if you guys recall, the mayor stated that we could put the credit card bills on the warrant list. It is not on here. I've asked, and I cannot approve bills and not know what I'm approving because I have nothing in front of me to say the mayor could have went on a trip with the credit card. How would I know? Because the bill is not in front of me. So again, Mayor, what happened to you putting the credit card bills on the warrant list?
I don't put the credit card bills on the warrant list, and you have the opportunity to vote no on anything that's on the warrant list.
I understand my rights as a trustee. I don't need you to inform me. My question was, I asked for you to place it on the warrant list.
I don't put things on the warrant list.
No. Last board meeting, you stated we can, and it's not on here. The credit card bills. I would like to see itemized credit card bills on the warrant list moving forward for the record, because I cannot make good decisions based off of the information you're giving me without the credit card bills. I need that. Other than that, I am voting blindly, so is the entire board. So I would advise the board to look into that and understand what they're voting for, because we're just voting for stuff and not knowing what we're approving.
Then vote no.
I know that, Mayor, but my question to you is, why isn't the credit card bills on the warrant list? As you stated, it would be.
Go ahead, sir.
May I, if I can, I know I had a conversation before with the finance company. I'm glad they're here. The initial reason that I was given for it not being on the warrant list was that it's not issued out as a check; it's coming as an automatic deduction. However, we have had discussions about getting that on there. I believe that there may have been some miscommunication on there. So I agree with the statement that it should be on there, and I can ask, since we're here and we have everybody there, can you stand up and acknowledge? I will for the record that we will move forward and have that on the warrant list.
I can have it placed on the warrant list, but it can't be on the warrant list that you guys approve with all the other bills, because I can't run them at the same exact time. I can have it as two separate.
Talking to the mic, please. Grab the mic.
So I can run it on the warrant list, but it can't be run with the same warrant list that you guys approve every month, because it has to be run as two separate, because one automatically affects cash in the month of the activity. So today, November, all of the cash transactions, the electronic payments, all of those will have hit cash as of November 30th. All the checks, if you guys approve them tonight, will hit December 2nd. I can't run them at the same exact time. I have to have two separate warrant lists.
I'm okay with two warrant lists if that's okay with
yes,
the board.
I just want to itemize to know what's going on and how taxpayer dollars is being spent. So I do appreciate that. So you won't hear my mouth again as long as you guys put it on the warrant list.
Promise.
My next question is Restore Construction.
Before she continues into her next point, I just want to give it some commentary, and forgive me for bouncing back and forth. The reason why I'm doing that is because I do want to see if any comments were coming through the live chat during this meeting. Excuse me. As well, that's a part of the practice for maintaining the standards of fair use. Since we don't have any live chat, I have to make sure I maintain fair use by altering the content in one way or another. So that's kind of what I'm doing that for. So forgive me, and I appreciate your grace. Now, I do want to note that from the beginning, we noticed that Tiffany Henry has an aggressive tone. Yeah, I got some questions. Okay. And then she questions that there's $25,000 being put on the warrant list to pay for trees. Why are we outsourcing it? How come Public Works can't do it? And she goes back and forth about that. Now, here's what we figured out, Breakdown Crew. We figured out that in this time, Tiffany Henry learned how the mayor was making his extra money. And in that time, Tiffany Henry figured that because she saw some things gotten away with, that she'd be able to get away with them too. She said, Matt is the department head. I'm asking questions to the department head. Are you one, Mayor? She said, do we only have one service cutting trees? Are you sure it's Pekarsky and Sons? Well, today there's like 5 of them. John's Pro Tree Service, Pekarsky and Sons, and Professional Tree Services. That's 3 tree cutting services. Where in 2019, she was questioning when there was only one. For only $25,000. Now you got tree services turning in fake invoices because they wasn't on no contract for $450,000, $30,000. She got lawn care services for $10,000. It's the hypocrisy for me. And that's kind of what I saw when I was looking right up in here. I was taking a look at the comments. And somebody was like, wow, Tiffany, you're a hypocrite. She's also quite unprepared for the conversation, which is weird to me. Because she didn't write down the numbers, the page numbers or anything. She didn't consider as a professional communicator that it might be helpful for folks to be able to understand what she was questioning while she's questioning it. Yet she stalled a whole meeting on January, I believe it was 2nd of 2024, to make Trustee Jason House forward an email to Keith Freeman with all the data. and then tried to make him read off every single line item. Now, let's get to the credit card invoices, right? Because in the last breakdown meeting marathon, we saw, well, one of the last ones, we saw how the whole credit card lie unraveled before our eyes of them not having a credit card, but now we know there is another one. And all of these, you know, she keeps saying that the trustees get everything they need, but I also heard her say everything we think you need to have. Okay? I was watching back one of our shows, our breakdown shows, and I noticed that she said, we give you everything we think you need to have. She said, I cannot approve bills and not know what I'm approving. What happened to you putting the credit card bills on the warrant list? I would like to see an itemized credit card bill. I can't make good decisions blindly. This is what she just said. Now, what we'll notice as well is here is where the two warrant lists begin. She was the reason why that was, yet today she acts like she don't understand why the trustees vote down the approval of the electronic warrant list with amendments, or approve it with amendments, rather. She acts like she doesn't understand why they do it. She calls it a dog and pony show, but the purpose is for the record, because there are two warrant lists. There's an AP warrant list, and there is a electronic warrant. Say it with me, Tiffany. Say it with me, Stan. Electronic, not electric, electronic warrant list. Thank you, Trustee Kiana Belcher, for holding them to the standard of excellence. I've been holding this coffee in my hand for a minute. I haven't sipped it yet. I am so sorry. Give me a second. It's in one of them 12-hour stay hot cups, so I'm kind of scared. Forgive me. Hold on. Whew, come on. Ooh, that shit is hot. That's what I thought it would be too. Anyway, so the reason why there are two warrant lists now is because Tiffany Henyard demanded that the credit card and the automatic payments be itemized on a warrant list. The finance guy, Chris, who seemingly has disappeared into outer space, maybe he's hanging out at Area 54 with them new niggas. If he's smart, he is. Listen, in my next life, I'm going to be an alien. Fuck this shit. So anyway, Earth is great. I'm having an amazing time. I'm glad I got to experience it. It's been a lot of great dick. But you know what? Next time, we can bypass this whole chapter. Look, so back to Tiffany Henyard and these credit cards. So now when, I'm going to repeat this. Now when Tiffany Henyard and Stan Brown act like they don't understand why the trustees don't approve payments on the warrant list, even though they were already paid. This is why. To show that those payments were made without board approval. To put it on the record. Okay? She's the reason for the warrant list separation. Yet she tries to act like she don't understand why they don't approve the electronic warrant list. Oh, it's got to be a hypocrite. Or some Machiavellian shit. How do you completely forget? Or maybe act like you did. Now, we'll notice that her voice is coarse, boorish, as Jaguar Wright would say, harsh, unattractive, unsexy, not girl 6 whatsoever. I tell you what, I have made so much money as a phone sex operator. Especially if you can make a man slow down and have a fucking conversation and you delay. But Tiffany Henyard could never. Not talking about, yeah, I got some questions. That's not sexy. That's not going to make a man call you every Wednesday at 7 a.m. on his way to work. No. Honey, listen. Tiffany Henyard here, though, sound a little bit more humble. A little bit less harsh. She does demonstrate a little bit more respect than we've seen her in the past. And we'll also notice that from the top and throughout, Trustee Jason House Mayor Pro Tem Jason House, as it stands since the last meeting, is so fucking diplomatic and fair. I noticed that when Jason House speaks to Mayor Riley, he doesn't tremble. He talks to him like a partner, like an advisor, and probably because that respect has been given to him. But either way, you got to say it with your chest. I noticed that at the beginning, he acknowledged a correction that was made, that the entirety of the corporate bills were not read into the record in the last meeting. He acknowledged it. He took responsibility for it. And then when it came down to the itemization of the credit cards, he said, I let the mayor slip. My bad. I'm going to take responsibility for it, and we're going to make sure that shit is right from now on. How about that? And now he's a trustee begging for the same information Tiffany Henyard was begging for. Let's continue. I don't think there's much else here. We'll see if what her next question is relevant. We'll see. I don't really want to break down this whole meeting. I think this is enough for now, but let's see.
You had a bill for $6,600. Can you kind of explain to me what it is they did? Was it just like you appreciate that? So you won't hear my mouth again as long as you guys put it on the warrant list. My next question is Restore Construction. You had a bill for $6,600. Can you kind of explain to me what it is they did? Was it just like board up, or what was that?
They're a board up company. They do board ups on the call outs on vacant properties, burglaries, and they've been doing it for the last 3 to 4 years.
Okay.
It's been appearing on the warrant list for that amount of time also.
And then the same for 5 Star Construction for $15,000.
5 Star Construction is our concrete company. They've been on the warrant list for at least the last 2 or 3 years, I know, for emergency work and also any concrete work that needs to be done.
Okay.
May I say something?
Go ahead, trustee.
They were on the warrant list once before, and I can recall we did not approve them because the work hadn't been finished. Has that work been finished now?
Yeah, that was last year, or 2 years ago. Last year, I think it was. Yeah, everything's been completed.
All right, let me jump in here real quick. I just want to make a note. Do you notice how Mayor Riley Rogers is answering these questions? He's got an even tone. He's not sarcastic. He did put Tiffany in her place and give her a little limitation earlier and be like, sit down, ugly. You don't, listen, we deal with you enough with this bullshit. Here you go again. But you know that's because he was doing some bullshit and she was calling him out on it. You know it ain't no reason why it's $25,000 worth of tree cutting on one bill. Come on. So anyway, you also notice that she's questioning a $6,600 bill, but she's telling the trustees they don't need to be doing that. You'll also notice that she is poorly spoken. She says, long as y'all do that, I'll be fine. Listen, before she ran for mayor, that should have been taken care of. Even Magic Johnson, me and my ex-husband used to sit up and watch Magic Johnson commercials and crack up. But listen, we couldn't laugh no more when he started getting that shit fixed. Magic Johnson went and took some at Magic Johnson's video commercials he took down and put back up again. We noticed the difference in his pronunciation. Go ahead and use your $300,000 a year that you still got left for the next couple weeks. Go ahead and use your what's it called, health savings account, and go learn how to talk. I also noticed that as we look at this dais, everybody got one drink, if that. Nobody's got these 4 or 5 bottles of water like they in survival mode because they don't know how fucking long they're going to be here. And this meeting is actually 2 hours and 11 minutes, which to me is long, but you know, whatever. Yeah, I just wanted to make a note. You know, Mayor Riley Rogers, my apologies, he answered so much more respectfully. He don't talk around in circles. He doesn't belittle. He doesn't yell. He don't even hand no water. He don't go on and on and on and on and on. They went to the corporate bills, and there was no mayor's report. If there was, I didn't see one. I skipped through the village department reports. If there was a mayor's report, I didn't see one, and it didn't come with no doggone 2 or 3 videos and him singing off key on top of them. So you see, if he was doing some shit he had no business doing, which I have no doubt that he was doing some shit he had no business doing. For example, the money that came in for the water meters, I'm sure that left with him. But you see how he got away with it, don't you? It's called diplomacy for a reason. And it's crazy to me how she acting like she don't know about all this today, when these were actually questions that she had back then.
And the reason that they had submitted those bills early was because we were so far behind in paying them. You done, trustees?
Yep, I'm done. Thank you so much.
There's a motion on the floor to approve the corporate bills as stated. And there is a second also. Yeah. Okay, roll call.
Trustee Denton?
Aye.
Trustee Steve?
Aye.
Trustee House?
Aye.
Trustee Brown?
Aye.
Trustee Holmes?
Aye.
Trustee Henry?
No, because I don't have credit card bills.
Okay, fine. Motion carries 5 ayes. Next thing on the agenda is old business ordinance number.
Okay, so let me just make a note of something real quick, and I think I'm going to let you go with this. So we started this conversation with corporate bills at 37 minutes and 35 seconds. Turn paper. The corporate bill session ended at 48 minutes and 17 seconds. That's roughly 11 minutes. 11 minutes. That's all I got. More.